What up, guys? It's your boy Mythic J. I'm here with an advanced guide to the economy. So after you watch this video, you're going to understand how to properly price basically everything in this game. I'm going to share community resources here, including an astrolabe calculator and a deal to valuing all of the shops and everything in the game. So my videos have been getting pretty long, so I want to kind of make them shorter. So basically, keep in mind here, my advice here is as a heavy spender, but all of the gates that the whales and the spenders run into are just shortened versions of the gates that even free-to-play players run through as well. A lot can change, with game updates, but as of now, as of today, I consider this stage I'm on to be very far in game, and so I think everything here applies and is very sound advice. So first of all, I want to walk you through kind of what's happening in this game because I think like some of the design in this game has broken down. So this game is built on three core resources, which are the three building blocks, kind of, which is gold, stardust, and experience, right? The problem with this game is when you get to in-game, gold and experience are worthless and gated by stardust. So, when I first started my account, I spent thousands of dollars. I've spent like hundreds of thousands of diamonds worth of value chasing gold because I was always short on gold, at those stages of my account. And now I have unlimited gold. So all of those diamonds have basically been wasted. And I should have either picked stardust or ideally nothing at all. Because the other problem with this game is because they have, level scaling, and antique cutoffs for the Champions Arena, basically a bunch of these resources in the game that you might think are quite important actually become useless in the most competitive in-game modes, which is very, very odd and very not cool. I mean, to even pile on further, there's only a few important items in the game. There's only a few important key bottlenecks. And other than those few items, everything else in this game is worthless, right? So even summon scrolls, right? Something that I valued, so antique scrolls, summon scrolls, things that I valued quite heavily at the start of the game are pretty much useless now. They have like close to no value. I mean, the limited summons still have some value, especially if you want to power level one of your heroes. But the gates in the game are the IW materials, so the bags and the crystals, shown here. These essences and these pure essences plus the ISSs, which you guys know. And then you're also gated by inherited divinities, IDivs, right? And basically, so right now, me for example, and I'm as a heavy spender, I have a bunch of heroes. I have a Kirin, Artemis, Medusa, Susanoo. I have Typhon I'm building. I have Mirasaki. All of these heroes, I can't even build them and roster them right now. I just benched Idun as well. I can't even run them properly, right? Um, because I don't have enough IDivs for them, inherited divinities, and I sure as hell don't have enough uh, IW. Is that immortal weapon? IW weapon, iconic weapon, immortal weapon, whatever it's called. I don't have enough resources to spread them out anyways, even if I wanted to. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna structure this video like just straight up or in terms of tips, right? But I guess so. That breaks me down. That brings me to like my first tip in this game, for economy is you need to really, using my tier list that'll be released soon. You need to really pick so if you're like a newer account, you only have 15 heroes anyways, three teams. You really need to pick those top 15 that you're gonna choose and put all your resources into them. Okay, and then this is part of the first tip or second tip, who knows at this point, but I would definitely recommend evenly balancing the four classes that you have. Okay, so the mages, the fighters, the tanks, and the supports. Now the way the game works is the fighters and the supports are easily represented, but I think out of like a 15 team roster, it should be something like five fighters, five supports, that's 10, and then like 2 3, something like that. You want like ideally three characters of each color, because the way you get your weapon materials they're going to be distributed across 4 colors, so you want to be able to use them for everyone. Okay, so really quick, so basically, let's just go through like all of the items in the game, you know. We'll do it through the marketplace. So basically everything here is worthless. Divinity gems also, you end up with too many. Faith is worthless as well. Antique coins are worthless. Soul seals are worth buying. And also gold is worthless too. So you can just go ahead and like buy everything in the shop, because gold is pretty much worthless. The items that are very important, so the muse items are important. The antique, building stuff is still important, although this is for gold. So let's just go ahead and ignore everything. You should just buy out everything in the gold shop except for experience, although honestly you could buy that too in case they nerf it, but I just don't buy the experience. And then you don't want to buy any of this stuff. When I was first starting my account, I bought a lot of these standard summon scrolls at 150 diamonds. They're still decent value. I used to buy these as well. These are a horrible purchase now, now that I'm like at the end game. I really regret putting diamonds into both of these. I think if you're freshman maxing like well, if you're spending a ton, you want to move up anyways, so you wouldn't even care about my advice. But if you were going to try and spend like every diamond as efficiently as possible, you wouldn't buy either of these, because eventually you'll fill up anyways, long before you can max characters anyways. The maps I actually still buy, because you still want to build your museum, even though it doesn't work in the champions rounds of the champions arena. They still add a lot of power to you. This one I think is worth buying. I'll get into it separately. I think the weekly item is worth buying. This one is another poor element of the design is the antiques. You're actually bottlenecked way more by the blue fragments than the purple or yellow ones. So blue fragments are must buy. Muse we'll get into separately. I'm just gonna go ahead and buy this one though, because it's for one of the muses I like. I'm gonna save these for a different rant. Even this one as well, because you have way more heroes than you can actually build. You don't actually need these. So these are also, this plus the yellow ones are a good buy at the start of your account, but at the end when you're like kind of at the end game like me, or even further along players, and you kind of add up where you spent all of your diamonds, I think you're really going to regret putting diamonds into both of these. So don't do it. And this applies even if you're a free-to-play player. It's just on a way longer time scale. Cubes I value at like double their shop value, so this is a must-buy. Take every cube you can see, unless it's the IW weapons. And now, okay, we get to the weird section. So first of all, these essences are like crack cocaine. Okay, you need to buy every single one you see. They sell for 60 diamonds equivalent in the marketplace, but they're actually worth like double that. These two, they sell for 180, so implied price of 240, but I think they're worth 2.5x that. I think they're worth almost 600 diamonds. These sell for 50% off or 900. I'll buy every single one at 1800 and I'll be happy about it. In fact, I wish they would let me do that, but you just take every single one. The purple crystals, you're gonna need them. The stats matter a lot, going from the 5 bars to the 6 bars to the 7 and 8 bars. These I'm already kind of running out, even though I had like 800. You need those. The muse waters are kind of meh buys, but we'll go into the muses in a second. And then I don't recommend buying these maps. I do kind of recommend buying this, and the reason is really weird. The reason I buy these two, the UR shard and the Stardust, even though I didn't in the past and really don't want to, is because funny enough, these IW weapon, these three right here, especially the crystals and the Infinity Soul Seals, they are so important that I am buying UR fragments just to pull extra URs to exchange for these blue orbs to pick up one of these per week, which is really ridiculous if you think about it. And the reason I'm leveling Stardust is because they have this, relatively new game mode, this Sinful Abyss. So before, I was completely ignoring experience because it doesn't matter, but now as you move up in ranking, you get more currency for the Bloodlust market, which contains all of the IW weapons in them. So I need to level up my account level, like my player level, just so I can get more prizes, just so I can get more of these weapons. And that's the only reason I'm buying one of the core building blocks of this game. So I just think it's extremely ridiculous. Anyway, so those are the items that you should be buying for diamonds. And if you're a free to play player, and I had to pick only the few priorities that you absolutely should take, I would say it's the cube. You should always buy the cube, and you should always buy this, the essence. The cube and the essence are the two must buys. Honestly, you don't need to buy anything else. You'd be okay not buying anything else. You know, I'd probably buy the maps. Probably buy these purple crystals, although that's way less urgent. So that's what I would do. But I just checked. I think the subscription only costs like $4. I would definitely, like, if you enjoy this game, don't be one of those losers unless you're doing like a free to play challenge. Don't be one of those losers who spends like 3 hours on a game and is unwilling to spend like, you know, $5. Like, your life as a human is worth way more than that. So like, you know, if you do play this game, I mean, I would recommend the permanent subscription and the monthly sub. But better than that, I would recommend not playing this game at all, because it's an abandoned. I mean, it's a dark hellhole. But anyway, anyways, and I'm serious about that. Anyways, so those are the items that I'll buy for diamonds, right? And what I've done here, voila, is I've added them all to a spreadsheet. And the first column is the price that the marketplace charges, and the second column is the price that's the implied price when you remove the discount, right? And the final price is the price that I set the item to, based on my intuition and my opinion, right? So that's like the only opinion based part of this. But I decided to I decided to assign all of the values. So like 2 maps, for example, I'm taking the discounted price, but then for stuff like the essences and the crystals and the cubes, they're way more than the actual ones, right? So of than the actual price. So of the items in this game, all of the items that are here for sale, I would say only a few of them are actually useful, like worth buying, and everything else you could just say, you know, just not give a shit about, really. And really quick, I want to talk about the muses before we move onward. It's very important too. This is another tip as well. It's very important that you build your muses whatever the stage of your account. And the reason for that is they give a passive bonus every day, basically, where you get a bunch of these resources. Now, a lot of these resources are pretty useless unless you're I mean, if you're free to play, then the gems and stuff are very useful, but it basically increases your passive income, right? So the like, theoretically, if you knew you were gonna play this game for 10 years, and you knew you were gonna spend like $1,000, you should put all the 1,000 at the very start and build your muses as high as possible. Then for the remaining 10 years, you would get these sick passives, right? So like, you want to front load all of your muse power as soon as possible, and then they also have like pretty decent bonuses, irreplaceable bonuses. And then if you level them up enough, a few of them have good like passives that give you more income. Like this one, right? She gives you Cleo. She gives you Gears of Time. Some of them are pretty worthless. Like she gives you gold, which is worthless. Calliope, you know, Euterpe, experience more, like Utwerp, you know, go away. She gives you Stardust every time you dance, which is pretty useful. Erado gives you diamonds, which is very good, so I'm working on building her next. And then she gives you Museum Silver Coins, which were not as useful as the others. But basically, you want to power level those as soon as possible, and you want to get that banquet level up, because it's like basically free passive income every day. Okay, and the last thing I want to say before closing this video and moving on to sharing the sheets with you is so check this out right here. Okay, so this one I bought for 250 diamonds here, right? So basically, the whole premise of this guide is I took the items that that I'm willing to buy in the marketplace. These are all decent buys, by the way. Like, you can just trust me on this. They're all like pretty good purchases for, a spender. They're not good for free to play, but I already told you the best items to buy for free to play. But let's say I spent 250 diamonds on this, right? So basically, this game is so like kind of well designed that you can kind of cross compare the value of an item across like multiple shops, and you can do that in the offers too, and then eventually you'll get like a good idea of what the legitimate pricing for an item is. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about in terms of anchoring. So we're using the price of the items in the marketplace. Now back then I did like a bunch of fancy formulas to anchor the price to gold as well, but gold doesn't work anymore because it's basically worthless. So now I'm cross anchoring through diamond costs only, right? And what this is going to let us do eventually is make a list of what every item in the game is worth, and then I'm going to make like a package value calculator so that you can actually run them through yourself. But let me show you what I'm talking about here. So basically there's two items in this shop here that show up in the guild store as well. So there's the weekly material, which is sold for 150, which I think is, you know, fairly valued, which is here. And then there's the 100x dust, which is sold for 250 diamonds, which I'm just kind of side buying, right? So I'm not like super excited about that one, right? So this is the currency in the guild store, as you can see here, and then this is the diamond price of the item. And so what that means is a higher number is worse, right? The lower store currency you're paying per diamond, the better a price you're getting. So instantly you know that you should buy the muse item and the weekly material over the 100x dust. But now you might ask yourself, you know, when should I buy an artifact? When should I buy a rune? I don't have an artifact or rune pricing, right? Well, first of all, you should just buy them when they're 25% off, because you know, otherwise you're gonna run out of currency. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and, you know, take my own advice, right, and let me do that. So now, you know, I bought these, and basically you have two prices here. One is the favorable price that you're paying for the you know, the favorable price that you're paying for the weekly materials and the muses, and then you have like the bad price, right, that you're paying for the 100x dust. And so the bad price, you're just going to disregard the value for it because it way undervalues the actual worth of the item. But if you took the more reasonable price, then this is what the artifact and rune cost is anchored to. So it's implying that this is with the 25% discount, by the way, but in general you should, you know, aim to buy things at a 25% discount, you know, in everywhere. This implies that the price of an artifact level 4 is around 450 diamonds, and the price of a rune is 180. Now these prices are cheaper in the guild store, and they're kind of anchored across all of the other shops, but in the past I did this and I derived a value of around 480 for artifacts and 190 for runes, by the way. I mean, for what it's worth, and so these prices are very close to the actual values that I think they should be valued at. So you guys get what I'm saying, right? And then when you anchor every store to every other store and kind of cross-reference through each of them, then you get like these very established prices, right? And then when you anchor those to these deals, for example, right, then you get even more of a similar, you know, value here between the different items here. So let me give you like a quick example of what I'm talking about. These 800 artifact fragments, right? So that's 8 of them. So this is worth about you know, 3,600 diamonds according to my calculations, right? Well, when you divide it by 16, remember that the shop valued these 16 crystals at around 240 diamonds each. So do you get what I'm saying? Like they're kind of like well distributed across each other. Do you know what I mean? So like the soul seal chests, I mean, those I value at like 500 diamonds. These I value at like 200 diamonds, the antique development, but the game values them at 300. So basically, you know, within every offer that you buy too, you can kind of compare them against each other, And then after that, what you can do is you can do, okay, so this is 20 scrolls times the 300 diamond value. That's 6,000 plus the 800 times 450, which is 3,600 diamonds, plus the 2,800 plus the 1,400 divided by 140. This deal is only worth about 99 diamonds per nova here spent, and that's because it's a 1,500% deal. When you have the 1,900% deals, you're getting more like 130 to 140 novas per diamond, but you can't control which ones trigger. Okay, so hopefully you understood all that, and I'm not going to bore you with filling in the rest of the stores here, but I'm actually, you know, I did it in the past and I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to write this comprehensive guide according to my opinion. You know, what should you spend on? What are all of the items worth? But further than that, you can actually take this to another level. And this is an old sheet that I have, but this was basically a astrolabe calculator that I built, right? So the green column here, you know, you put in the items per spin you got, and the point of this was to show you the value, like at what point you should stop buying these for diamonds. You know, you need to hand record everything to kind of see how many points they're worth. You can see here, this was like my average diamonds per pool. These are based on old values though, so I still need to update this. Now if there's enough demand for this in the community, I might even build a website that includes a astrolabe calculator, and then I want to build a package value calculator too, so that, you know, you can just do like a drag down menu. Anytime an offer pops up, you can kind of do a drag down menu and see how many diamonds per nova you're getting. If there's demand there, like, please let me know if you would be interested in that. But for now, I'm going to share my charts of all of the shops. I did this in the past, but I'm going to update it with all the new knowledge I have. Basically, the main thing that's changed is I realized that gold is completely worthless. So I'm making a completely new version of this shop for the community. We might turn them into infographics or like a website at some point in the future. The only problem with that is this game is pretty, what's the word, not that popular. I'm not getting money or honeys from doing this stuff. I don't even know why I'm doing it. I just love the game. So it's not really time efficient to go too hard on, like, you know, building a website, doing graphics and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see what kind of demand there is. So yeah, thanks for watching this one, guys. And hopefully this stuff is pretty useful to you. And then one thing I wanted to add before I go, this is how much I love this community, this is how much I love this game. As I was going, I'm recording an extra section to show you something too. So if you remember here, you remember the prices weren't so good here, right? But here's another thing. If I took the guild price stores and I removed the store discount, so this was 50% discount, so this becomes 500. This was 25%, so this becomes 200. This was 25% discount, so this becomes 400. Look at this. All of the store prices per diamonds is actually set to 5x the non-discounted price, right? By the way, what that would imply is that the game values a artifact at 800 diamonds, full price, and it values the rune at one second, so it's 160 divided by 5, 320 diamonds full price. And that is something that I always wondered what the actual value of and the reason for that would be you would just divide these by 5. So this would be 4,000 divided by 5. So you divide the undiscounted price by 5 and you would get 800 and 320 are the prices that the game values these items at. And I can just double check the other calculator. Actually, those are the only items in here. But yeah, that's basically it. So that's what the game values those at. Although another thing too is, like, remember, these are the specialized ones, and that's why it's 4,000. But these what's the word, unspecific fragments are the ones that show up in the offers, right? So that would mean that the 100x art 4 fragments are worth 600 diamonds. By the way, you would never pay full price for these, but this is what the game values them at, and then these are worth 240. And then, you know, I'm pretty sure when the Rune Maiden shop pops up, the Rune 4s do cost 240 diamonds. I do remember that. And the Art 4s do cost 600 diamonds too. So yeah, pretty interesting. I always wondered what the price on that is. But anyways, yeah, that's a little add-on to the video. Thanks for watching once again.